So what is going on, everybody? A lot of people have been asking me the question about, yo, Skillz, if I don't have a high shade level watch, can I still do these time trials and get 10 out of 10? And I would tell you yes, because this character only has a shade watch level of 65. Let's take a look at it. 65, right? So all we're getting is 2.6% extra damage, 2.6% extra armor. We have a little bit of reload speed right here. And then we have a little bit of skill damage. So nothing that's truly going to affect our build like if we had 1,000 shade level, right? And let's take a look at the stats. So if you look at our stats on the build, we're running a Hunter's Fury, and I'll break it down for you. 55% crit chance, 100% crit damage. Now this is the build that I ran for Tombs, for Pathway Park, Coney Island, and then we also ran it for the other mission. So all 3 missions that you guys can run for Luna League, well, we ran it with this build right here. Now, let's break down the build. So the build I recommend is always these Hunter Fury builds. The reason why they're so good is because of the way they pair together. They're easy to farm. And look, my roles aren't even that. All these roles were just farming. And I started with hard, worked my way to challenge, all solo. So Hunter's Fury, for the 2-piece, remember we get the SMG damage, that's why we're using it. The 3-piece is giving us the armor on kill 20%, 100% health on kill, and the Apex Predator. Enemies within 15 meters receive a debuff, amplifying your weapon damage against them by 20%. Now when you do kill a debuff enemy with your weapon, and disorients them within 5 meters, but it also amplifies your weapon damage by 5% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Now the way we have this set up is we have armor on the mask, we have crit chance and critical hit damage. You're really gonna expect this a little bit different since we don't have a lot of crit chance on this build from not having the watch, because remember the watch gives you 10% extra crit chance and we don't have that. So we have to spec a little bit more into it. So armor, crit chance, and then critical hit damage mod. For our second piece of Hunter's Fury is the holster. We have weapon damage, critical hit damage. For the knee pads, we have weapon damage, critical hit damage. And then for the gloves, we have weapon damage, critical hit chance. Now, as you see, some of these haven't even been fully re-rolled, which I can still re-roll this one, and I might later on, but as the moment, this is the rolls that I have. I just wanted to show you guys can do the same thing. For the chest, we have the Sokolov chest. This gives us 10% SMG damage. We have weapon damage, crit chance, critical hit damage, and then a critical hit damage mod. And then we have Intimidate on him. When you have bonus armor, it amplifies your weapon damage by 35% to enemies within 10 meters. And then we have the Matador, which is the Name, Walker, and Harris, 5% weapon damage, plus we have weapon damage on here, critical chance, critical hit damage, and then a 10.8% critical hit damage mod. And we have a perfect adrenaline rush. Whenever you are within 10 meters of an enemy, you gain 23% bonus armor for 5 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. So that's a ton of bonus armor that you can get. If you get those enemies, you stack 3 of them, it's pretty good. And that's why this build hits so hard. And even with this build not having a maxed out crit chance, maxed out crit damage, we're still able to do that. And then we running an MP5. I was actually looking for Vector SBR with close and personal, but I have the MP5 ST. This has SMG damage, crit chance, and then has damage to armor. Now, my goal, the crazy thing about it is I don't have damage to targets out of cover yet. I don't have a role for that, so I don't have that in my library. So even with a build that isn't fully done, it's still able to do it. Now, ideally, switch out that damage to armor, damage to targets out of cover, and then have in sync. So I'm going to gain an extra 30% weapon damage and 30% skill damage when my skills are hitting, and that's what's really good about it. We do have crit chance on everything, crit chance on the muzzle, crit chance on the suppressor, and then we have a 20-round mag. And that's how I would run this, because you need that extra crit chance right there, and that's how we're getting that 55%. For the secondary, you can run the Nemesis. I really didn't use it. I happened to get one as a drop, so I was kind of lucky. So I just threw that on there. You see the rolls aren't good. I didn't even use it for any of my runs. The Gunner class, ideally you want that 10% extra bonus armor. The extra bonuses you get from it are great, and that's why I use it. And then for the shields, you do want to get the Crusader shield, and then obviously you want to run the Striker drone. And if you look, my Striker drone is so deflect duration. We have 1 damage mod, extra bombs, so we don't even have everything we can get out of it. So that's what I want to show you guys, that you don't have to have a perfect build, but this will still work on these missions. And look, you could do the Tombs with this, you could do Wall Street with this, and you could do Coney Island with this. This is what I did. Coney Island, I was able to get 9 minutes and 13 seconds. For challenging, we were able to get 14:24 on Wall Street, and then Tombs, we were able to get 14:22. So all 3 of these with that build. Now, Pathway Park is probably the hardest one for you guys to get what build did I use there? So let's get into that. So if we get into the build, this is the build right here. I'm running an Eclipse build. Now this is something a little bit different than what you might have seen me upload in the past. And this is because on this build, I don't have all the pieces like I have on my main character that's fully maxed out. So I don't have the biomask, but I was lucky enough to get this exotic Imperial Dynasty, and this actually works really good. And the reason why is because while you're in combat, it applies burn to enemies closer to you within 20 meters. It also has 1 skill tier, it has status effects, so that's what's really good. Now this does have a cooldown of 35 seconds, but still every 35 seconds with that is actually really good, because remember, what Eclipse does is it spreads it. So if we go over to our 4-piece Eclipse, we're getting 15% status effects, 15% skill haste, 30% hazard protection. Also right here, we have your status effects now spread on kill to enemies within 10 meters and refreshes 50% of the duration. So we have skill tier, we have status effects on every piece. You can see not even maxed out. And then we have skill haste mods. And then on the chest piece, it increases indirect transmission range from 10 meters to 15 meters and refreshes the percentage from 50 to 75%. So you definitely want to get this 100%. You want to get this piece, you want to run the chest piece because you want that extra 5 meters and the extra 25% refresh percentage. Now you're also running the backpack with Eclipse. I always recommend this. We have skill tier, status effects, as you guys saw, skill haste, and then the backpack amplifies all damage you deal to status effect targets by 30%. So that's with your weapons, with your skills. So that's also really good. So you want that because that's going to help your drone hit harder too. So those two are definitely what I would recommend right there. And then for the gloves, this is our 3rd piece. We have skill tier, status effects, and then Eclipse for the knee pads, skill tier, status effects. The great thing about these pieces, like the knee pads, the gloves, it's easy to max them because they always come with skill tier, and then all you have to do is hope you can get a status effects maxed out roll. So the highest roll I have on this character is 9.8. So yeah, that's it right there. So a 4-piece right there. We have the Imperial Dynasty, and then for the mask, we're running a golden gear for the 10% status effects. Since we do have the Technician class, we can roll 1 piece of armor. This one's not fully god roll, but hey, we have status effects, skill haste, and then a skill haste mod. So that's exactly how you want to run this. And then you're just running the fire starter, and the fire starter is going to give you that cloud radius of 3.90 meters, damage 512,000, burn damage 255,000 damage, and then check this out, burn duration is 12 seconds, and we're skill tier 6. We have burn strength and 1 ammo on the slot, and then we running the drone, and all I have on there is 1 thing that gives me extra damage, but it's also skill tier 6. So this is going to get extra damage every time one is on fire, but you're most likely going to burn them before. So if you don't have the biomass that actually comes, if you check right here, don't have the biomass that actually comes from this season at level 90, which I don't have because it's a new account, well, you don't have to worry about that. You can, if you have another piece, I would recommend running this. Now if you don't have the Imperial Dynasty either, maybe run a Wyvern Wereholster, switch it up. It really can be up to how you want to run it, but I just wanted to give you guys another option, and this is what I use the same exact build. I'm running a test subject. It's up to you. You're really just gonna use this to get those heavies, like the big tank guys who don't take any status effects. You use this test subject, great. It's gonna give me that 40% extra weapon damage, 40% extra skill damage. I have the mop on there. You don't have to have it, but yeah, test subject. If you have the capacitor, which you get from the summit for doing 5 challenges, you can switch it there. I haven't done it on this character, so that's why. So at level 65 shade, we're able to get it. Technician class is what you want, and then let's go over here, and then you can see. Go on Lulan League. That's how we're able to complete Pathway Park in 14 minutes and 23 seconds. So if you guys are feeling like you guys cannot complete these because you guys don't have high shade levels, it is possible. 100% proved it, did it on this account. And then obviously you guys know the explosive kills and hostile bleed. I'll put the link, I'll break it down for you right now. This will actually be on the other account, but that doesn't really matter either, and I'll tell you why. So if you go over to your, let's go to your watch level. Look, the only thing that we're gonna be getting from that is 10% extra skill damage and 10% skill haste. Now, the good thing about this build is your character will automatically cause bleed because of the artillery turret, right? Because the artillery turret applies bleed status effect on effective targets. So if you don't kill them with explosive kills, you will get that. And then we pair that up with the Stinger Hive, which also applies bleed status effect on effective targets. So both of these together at skill tier 6 is actually really amazing. Now the way we do have this set up, guys, is I am running a Wyvernware 2-piece with the skill damage, status effects, skill tier, status, skill damage, status effects, and skill haste is what I have throughout this build, and that's what I really recommend. We also have the Empress International. We're running a 3-piece on the chest. So we're getting skill health, skill damage, skill efficiency. We get skill tiers, skill haste, skill damage, and then we have a skill haste mod on there. We have perfectly skilled. Skill kills have 30% chance to reset skill cooldowns, and that allows us to get our skills back a lot quicker. Sometimes my mortar turret is back instantly. As soon as I finish, I already have it back, and that's what I really like about it. The second piece of Wyvernware is the holster. We have skill tier, skill damage, status effects, and that's what you'll probably see all throughout this build. Our second piece of Empress, skill tier, status effects, skill damage. Our gloves, skill haste, skill damage, skill tier. So we're running a 6 skill tier, obviously. And then for the backpack, we went to China Light for the explosive damage. So we have skill tier, status effects, skill damage, and skill haste. Now the one piece China Light gives us that explosive damage, but we're also running the named China Light strategic alignment. So it's going to give us perfectly shock and awe. Applying the status effect to an enemy increases total skill damage and repair by 20% for 27 seconds. So we constantly should have this up, and that's why with this build it hits really hard. Now the weapons, you can run whatever you want. If you want to build those crazy stacks, the capacitor, yeah, that's going to be for you, because the capacitor does have that talent that shooting enemy build stacks of a cap of 40. Each stack grants 1.5% skill damage. After 5 seconds it does decay, and also for the amount of skill tiers you have, you get 7.5% weapon damage for each skill tier. So you hit pretty decent. Now if you don't have that, another really good one is going to be the test subject, because it's called perfectly in sync. Hitting an enemy with grants 20% skill damage. Using a skill or damaging an enemy with a skill grants 20% weapon damage, and it's double, so you can get up to 40% extra skill damage and 40% extra weapon damage with this one. So this is another great one to run. Ideally, sometimes I don't even shoot my weapon, as you guys saw in the gameplay, but yeah, this right here, it typically is the build I run, and I like it. It's very efficient for this one, because with this one, you guys know you guys do need to get explosive kills, and you need to get hostiles bled. So you don't have to kill them, you just have to bleed them. So that's just putting out that hive will do it. If you don't kill them with your turret, and sometimes with explosive, I don't want to kill them right away with explosive damage. I want it to bleed, so I don't want to be the hardest hitting explosive damage build. I want it sometimes to not kill them, because it counts as I bleed them, and then if I hit them right back the second time, it should kill them, and then that will give me both, right, bled and explosive damage. So both of these definitely a really good build. So if you guys are looking at completing the Noodle League, this is what I've been running. So yeah, this is the build right here. All right, guys, we'll wrap it up here. Appreciate the support, appreciate the love. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, hey, nothing but skills out.